Welcome to Roots and Wings, the podcast from the Fox Hill School. I'm Melanie Little, the director at the Fox Hill School. Today's episode is especially for parents of young children who are heading into elementary school and maybe feeling a little nervous about math. Many people grew up believing they just weren't math people, and that anxiety can easily get passed along to kids. I'm excited to welcome Patti Sanders, a Fox Hill alumni parent and Title I math tutor at Highland School in Danvers. Patti is here to help us rethink math, ease those worries, and remind us that math can actually be fun, playful, and accessible to all children. Hi, Patti. Thanks so much for coming on our show.
Hi, Melanie. Thanks for having me.
Yes. First things first, please give me an update on your three incredible Fox Hill School alumni children. I mean, they're adults now. I always like to hear the amazing things that all of my little preschoolers are doing when they're out in the world.
I know it's been a long time.
Yes.
So Grace she actually joined your podcast a little while ago.
Excited about
and
that one.
Recently graduated from BU with her master's in dietetics. So she is a dietitian working at Newton Wellesley, and she's doing great. And she also has a part-time job. It's like a telehealth. It's called Nourish. So she does that at night. And Brendan graduated from Mass Maritime a few years ago. And he is working for a global company as a consultant
Oh, wow.
called Turner and Townsend.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
yeah, he's like a project manager,
Okay.
but for a big commercial. Like his main project right now is Boeing. They're building something in Cambridge.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. That's
So
amazing.
he's doing great. And Maria got to Italy this morning to study abroad.
Yay! Oh,
Finance major
oh my God.
Bryant, and she is in Rome right now. And she's going to be in Florence, but she's in Rome for the weekend before she studies in Florence for the semester.
Honestly, amazing. It's truly remarkable what everybody is doing. I just love it, love it, love it.
Yeah,
And so
they
she's
had a
there.
great foundation.
Yeah,
No.
I'll take credit for the beginning.
Yes, you should.
Oh my goodness. And she's there for the whole semester. Or
She's there for the whole semester, yeah.
and the summer or comes back?
She comes back in May.
Okay.
So it'll be just like as if she was at school.
Okay. Amazing. Oh, so exciting. Well, that is fantastic and just a perfect way to start our show.
Yeah.
So, all right, getting back to the math. What inspired you to become a math teacher?
So I was going into my kids went to Riverside. And when I would go in and kind of help out, even if it was just like flashcards, reading sight words, and I used to come home and say, "I love this, and I wish I was a teacher," and all this stuff. And Daryl said to me, "So do it."
Yeah, there we
And
go.
so he's like, "Do it." So I went back to school, and my first job was I actually was doing the same thing, but only for literacy.
Oh, I
And
remember that. Yep.
I was in Malden, and that was my
In Malden.
first
Yep.
job. And I liked it, but I'm gonna say the things that I don't like when people say, but I am a math person.
Yeah. Me too.
So I knew that I wanted to teach math.
Yeah.
And there was a math position, and I ended up moving over to a different school, and I just have been doing it ever since.
Oh,
I
that's amazing.
love it. It's the perfect, I don't know, it's the perfect job for me. I ended up getting certified and in elementary math, and I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Some of our parents might not know when I introduced you, your job title is Title I math tutor. So can you give us a little executive summary about what Title I means?
Sure. So Title I is a federal grant program. They actually is how I get paid is through that grant.
Okay.
And it's, they look at the schools and the kids that, the numbers that the kids that struggle
Okay.
with math. We have literacy too, as well.
Okay.
So that's kind of why I've moved around a little bit. When I started in Danvers, I was actually at Thorpe
Okay.
And then I was at Riverside for 2 years, and now this is my second year at Highland. So
Okay.
it depends on the numbers, it depends on the need, who needs support and where, really.
Okay. So your work it's geared towards kids that are struggling with math.
Yes. So, when you think of like regular instruction, it's a tier 1. So I'm a tier 2. So I'm pulling like small groups of kids who may just need a little extra support and then they exit. Tier 3 would be like special education.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that is very clear. I think that makes a lot of sense and good to know that public schools have that.
Yeah.
So, like you said, in our family, we mostly struggle with writing, to tell you the truth, but and we're math people as well. But I think many adults say, I was never good at math. And why do you think so many people feel nervous or intimidated by math?
I think a lot of kids or people in general kind of internalize the attitudes and beliefs that their parents say, you kind of take on those messages. A lot of parents will say, I'm not good at math or I'm not a math person. And I happen to grow up in a house that math was fun and math was great. And so I think a lot of times that's really what it stems from. Or maybe they get into something and it gets hard fast and they shut down and say, I don't like math because it doesn't come easy for me. So I don't like it,
Right. Or I can't
right,
do it.
or I can't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
And do you
Yeah.
see that anxiety surfacing in like young kids, like when they first start, or how early does that start?
I can, and kids have anxieties for a lot more now than I used to see. I think that, the positive math, calm math experiences, fun math experiences can really, you know, help with math anxiety later on.
Okay.
So if encouraging kids and learning that, mistakes are okay, and feeling comfortable and safe to, so there a lot kind of goes into it. Building math confidence can be a huge thing too.
Okay. What would you want parents of preschoolers and kindergartners to know if they're worried that their child might not be good at math?
Okay. So I would say,
I say that in
uh,
quotes.
right, right. Because
They
is
grow.
it a real struggle or is it, the parents are afraid? So that would be two different things, right? If you are just afraid, there's a lot of things you can do at home. There's a lot of everyday activities that you can integrate math into play and, playing grocery store or counting your steps, building blocks. Let's see how many blocks it's going to take to make this tower as high as the coffee table. Or there's a lot of ways you can integrate math into daily life. So if you're just wanting to make sure that and you're worried that you're afraid they're not going to be good at it, there's a
Yeah.
lot of things you can do.
Okay.
If you really see that there's difficulty,
Yep.
you know, there's trouble recognizing numbers or, counting or skipping numbers when you're counting.
Yep.
Those might be different things. And a lot of times they can just be, growth happens slower for some students than others. So it doesn't mean that there's a real concern either.
Okay.
You know,
The
it's
developmental
it could
range
just be
is
developmental,
yeah.
like if it's, there's a difference between developmental concerns or struggles and learning struggles, when over time there's no progress or, there's a lack of growth and it's just not, they're not progressing. That might be a concern, but
Okay.
sometimes people are worried and there's no real concern,
Yeah. Right. So what does math learning look like in the early and elementary years? Like how might it be different from like when we learned math?
Oh, so different,
Right.
right? So different.
My kids
They
lost me mid elementary school.
Right. Well, it's like now we play games, there's tools, there's visuals. I mean, just, and the thing today is we just followed a series of steps, right? Do this, rote memorization, or follow this series of steps to solve this problem. Like now, they're learning really the why and more
Oh,
conceptual understanding.
okay.
So kids can look at a problem and just break apart numbers and things we couldn't do because
We just
we weren't
memorizing. Yeah.
we were memorizing, and we were just, following steps.
Okay.
So it's really, I feel like there's so many more supports too, and visuals and manipulatives. And whereas, obviously we didn't struggle with math, but if you did then, I feel like it would have been a lot harder than it is now. Because there's so many more things to make it, you know, come alive, for lack of a better word to say, make it real.
So I know officially the tutor, if you said level 2, you work with those kids. It sounds like level 1 could all use what you're talking about. Is some of that integrated into their regular math that they're
And
learning?
it is.
Okay.
So a lot of times I start a math block in the classroom.
Oh,
And I have my certain kids that I do
yeah.
pull out and work with after, but I do kind of walk around, during the lesson, and I'm supporting as needed with, tools or manipulatives or whatever it may be. And then there will be at some point, they're sent off, and that's when I would pull my students. And sometimes I'm doing some of the work from the lesson, something like in the class, or trying to fill some gaps that they might have for other foundational skills.
Oh, that is great. So even if anybody actually is struggling, you guys step in and
Yes.
don't
Yes.
fall behind.
Right. Exactly. So it's really great. I wish every school had Title I.
Oh, every school doesn't have Title 1.
They do not.
Oh,
So this
okay.
year it's only Highlands and Great Oak that have it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that stuff depending on, we have parents that obviously live in Danvers, but also Beverly, they can ask if their school has Title 1 services?
Yes. You can ask. A lot of schools do.
If a child says, I'm bad at math, how should parents respond in a way that kind of builds confidence instead of adds pressure to the situation?
Yeah. So I would say, validate the feeling. Math feels hard right now, but we need to like kind of reframe their brain in like, your brain is growing. So, and I always say, mathematicians don't always know either. They have to problem solve just like us. Hard problem solving makes your brain grow. Everybody learns differently, just because I have a lot of kids say, if one person is done quicker than another, they feel like they don't know, and everybody learns differently. And just because you don't know something, just because something isn't easy for you, doesn't mean you're not good at it,
Or you can't
you
do it
know? Or
eventually.
you can't do it. You can do anything you put your mind to. That's what I tell my kids. They don't always want to hear it,
Yeah,
but yeah.
but it is the
They say
truth.
I can't, and I say la la la
Yeah,
la. Yeah. Yeah. So you
exactly.
can. You can. And then a lot of times it's like, you don't know it. Okay, you don't know it yet, but you will. So a lot of that is just building that confidence. I have kids that sometimes start working with me that don't barely talk. And I'm like trying to pull it out of them. And once they kind of feel comfortable, and it's okay to make mistakes. I love mistakes.
Yeah,
Mistakes are what make you learn, right?
exactly.
You remember. If you make a mistake, you actually learned. You remember.
It's true.
So, there's a lot of that, and I have this one story I have to tell you.
Yeah.
So, I have this one student, he's in 3rd grade, and I love him so much, but he barely spoke when he first came to me,
Okay.
and we were working on, a concept that has been really difficult for him. It's like subtracting two-digit numbers with regrouping. So, we used to say borrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Regrouping. All right.
regrouping.
I'm learning.
So,
I'm learning already.
Yeah, so he had his whiteboard and he was really doing well. So when we were finished, it's lunchtime. So I go to lunch and the class goes to lunch and his teacher told me that he walked up to her and she said, "I held the whole class up going to lunch." They're like, "We have to go to lunch." She's like, "Wait," because he was talking and explaining what he did and she said he sounded like me.
Ah,
And I was like so happy. It made my whole week. No,
I
it
love it.
does, it helps. It really helps to building that math confidence
Mhm.
sometimes really can be the key
Yeah,
too, you
yeah,
know?
and I love that what you just said about you can't do that yet. I've
Right.
all year I've been reading a series of books that are all about yet, like the
Yet, the
power of
power of
yet.
yet. Yes, yes, yes,
So,
yes.
I'm
Growth
gonna put
mindset.
that book in the show notes because I love it,
Uh,
and we read it, and now the kids, if they can't do they can't do something, I'll say, "They can't do it," and they go, "Yet!" And it's
yes.
I'm like, "Yes!"
We get it.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So I love that that's going over into elementary school.
Yes.
Amazing. So a lot of our listeners are, parents of that they're still in preschool or not yet in elementary school. Um, from your perspective of kids coming in from preschool, or even if they didn't go to preschool from home, what kind of foundational math skills do you find most helpful if they're transitioning from preschool into kindergarten or first grade? Like, what is kind of
The
the
key,
yeah, the
um,
key or the base? Like,
the
where do
base.
we start? Yeah.
So number sense is the big one.
Okay.
So, counting,
Yep.
one-to-one correspondence,
Okay.
understanding that if you count a series of objects that the last number you said represents that quantity.
Okay.
Reasoning skills are really super helpful, understanding, like, does that answer make sense? So, sometimes kids will solve a problem and I say, "Let's think about, like, does that make sense? Is that reasonable
Yeah.
what we have for an answer?" And they'll say, "No,"
Yeah. Right.
So that kind of, thinking, but really the number sense, the counting. And I don't know if you ever use these, but YouTube has these counting videos and Jack Hartman
Oh,
is,
well, we love Jack Hartman's
do you not?
songs.
I love him.
Yes. Yes.
He's the best.
But he has
He
math
really,
videos?
they get you into it.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we do a lot of those. They have, like, the counting to 100, counting to 120, counting by 5s, counting by 10s, like, he's got a lot. So,
Interesting. You'll have
things like that,
yeah.
sometimes when kids don't go to preschool,
Mhm.
can see a big
Yeah.
difference. Um, you can, but it doesn't
They're
mean
not gonna
anything.
get there eventually.
Doesn't mean they're not gonna get
Yep.
there because they will,
Right, right,
We always say, like, "Well, we'll get them there," but,
right.
um, there's a lot of things that people can do, to make it fun too.
Yeah.
Games, play board games,
Okay. That's
you
great.
know?
So that's
Uh,
something parents could do at home to make it not
yes, I mean, I feel
stressful.
like a little bit board games have kinda with computers
I
and
know.
which is a little sad to me
It
because
is.
I love board games
Yeah.
but I think because there's really a lot you can learn from stuff like that.
Yeah.
Shoots and ladders, I mean, there's a lot of those
Yeah.
old, kicking it back old school,
Exactly. We've
right?
been playing, Uno at school,
Ugh,
and
I love Uno. Yeah,
they can do
yes.
it. It's like a color and a number and a matching, and
Yep,
they're even just they're just 3, but they know they can match the colors, they can match the number. They kinda look at me like I'm crazy when I was like, "Oh, that one means we have to skip you," and they're like, "Wait a minute.
wait a minute, I don't like that part.
I don't like that one." Or they just wanna skip their friends all the time.
Right, right,
But they
right.
get it, and they take turns, and it's patience and all math.
Right, exactly, and that whole, taking turns, sharing objects, playing cards, taking turns. I play, one of my kids' favorite games is making combinations of 10 is like it's a big thing, and in
Okay.
like kindergarten, first grade, because those combinations of 10 can kind of carry you and help you with everything.
Okay.
So we play Go Fish, Make 10. So instead of asking for, do you have any, I don't even know how you play regular Go Fish
Right.
because usually it's like, do you have any turtles or whatever the
Yeah,
game is.
whatever it is. Yeah.
But you would say if you have a 6, do you have any 4s? Because you're trying to make it
Oh,
match and make
okay.
10. My kids love it. It's like one of my
Interesting.
favorite games. So there's ways like so many games you could play
Okay.
to practice like math skills like that. So
Awesome.
there's ways to make it fun.
And there's no homework or worksheets or things like that. It's just fun things at home. Because I think parents a lot of times feel like, oh, they need to practice. And to me, it's just more if you're making it, they're doing something fun that's reinforcing it at home. They can do kind of the harder part at school, focus, and then do the fun part at home, keep it a little lighter.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I feel like worksheets, I guess, are like kind of I mean, obviously, yes, in school they have to do worksheets sometimes,
Yeah.
but it's not like it was,
Okay. That's good.
No.
That's good. And whatever you're describing sounds great.
Yeah.
So that's already a positive in my mind. So, if there's one thing that you hope parents could take away about math and young children, what would it be?
I would say that growth happens differently for each student and each child. So don't worry, necessarily. And if you have to help at home, try to have it be without pressure. You know, because it's not fun for the parent, it's not fun for the student or the child, but everybody learns differently too. I know I had my share of worrying about things with my kids, and I'm sure you did
Oh, yeah,
too.
of course.
And really, as
Absolutely.
now it's easy to look back and say,
Right.
it's all okay."
I know.
Right, exactly, right?
Exactly.
So that would be one thing. It's, and like you said, you know, e everybody gets through it,
Yeah,
and math is fun,
it is fun.
it's fun, so
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome. Well, I think that is a great thing to end on. Math is fun.
yeah.
I love it. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us and
Oh, thanks for
all
having
of the
me.
amazing work you're doing. Like, I want to come to Highlands and
I
play
love
some
Highland.
games with you. And I will actually ask you for a couple of the link, like maybe the Jack Hartman links, and we'll put those in the show notes so parents could maybe click on those. They're looking for ideas. Hopefully, this information will instill confidence in the parents and their kids as they transition into elementary school.
I hope so. They're at the best preschool, I know
Oh,
that.
yay.
So,
I love it. I love it.
yeah, I love it.
Yes. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming on. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in to Roots and Wings. We will see you next time.